So my name is Brian. I am the creative director for SeaWorld Parks Entertainment, and today I'm going to share with you some information about the stories, the essence, and the creative behind what is Pantopia and Falcon's Fury. So we're very excited to talk about this brand new land. It's a huge land right in the heart of Busch Gardens, and we thought to ourselves, what better story to tell in the heart of Busch Gardens than the stories of all the animals of Busch Gardens. So Pantopia is a made-up word, and this is a made-up place, and we're moving away from this Western Africa, cultural influence to really widen the stories that we get to tell here at Busch Gardens. And you see us doing that over the past few projects that we've done here. We're getting out of geocentric locations and moving into imaginative spaces to let our guests explore and connect with nature in whole new ways. So Pantopia, located in the heart here at Busch Gardens, is the place that travelers from around the world can come back and share their stories with each other. And in this place, they can stay as long as they want, and all they're required to do is to create art to decorate and enhance the area of Pantopia. So Pantopia is full of art. The buildings are the canvases, the landscape is the canvas, and found objects become precious items within the land itself. The original founder of Pantopia, he arrived via hot air balloon in very dramatic fashion and landed on what we call the East Gate. The East Gate is actually where the keymaster lives, and he was the original founder. So he got here, and people started showing up. So to manage the people, he got a bunch of keys, and said, it's like the innkeeper. Here, take this key, go to that house. You can stay as long as you want, but you got to share your stories and create art. And so the keymaster here at the gate, anybody visiting Pantopia can come, get a key, and stay as long as you want. The only price of entry is to share stories of your adventures that you've had around the world or here at Busch Gardens, Tampa. And so once you're inside, you'll find all the doors of Pantopia. Each door is themed around the resident that lives there. Where I'm standing right now, there's actually 5 residents that live outside here, actually outside the gate itself. That's like the navigator, the tea salesman, this guy that's really obsessed with elephants for some reason, because they're right next door, and a few other really interesting, unusual folks. So you'll see all those stories come to life through physical props and real doors from the lands that they represent. Everything from China to India, Indonesia, all kinds of really exotic locations have been brought here to really create the textures and the real style and flavor of Pantopia. So we're going to go inside, and I'm going to show you the next area, and then we're going to go inside the actual retail store and touch and see all the real props and pieces of Pantopia. Before we do, you can ask questions out here if you want. Yes, good?
That key on your neck, is that symbolic?
Yeah, so the keys of Pantopia are highly symbolic, and they're free for everybody. Visitors and travelers to Pantopia can simply, in theoretical story talk, take whatever key they want and open any door and stay as long as you want. So I wear this key because I'm also a traveler and I've been around the world, and I like to share stories of Pantopia and of Busch Gardens to all my friends and families, and also SeaWorld parks and all kinds of great places that I get to go in a daily fashion. And the keys are really the method that I remind myself that I can do that as well, and I can unlock the hidden mysteries of the world by simply turning a key or looking closely.
So well spoken.
Yeah. We have there's a lot of story in Pantopia. There's books of it. Okay, you ready to go inside?
Yeah.
Or the main entrance to Pantopia. What would you see first when you walk in? Well, it's where you drop your bags and you leave your gear behind and you start to enjoy life here in Pantopia. So as soon as guests enter the key gate, they're going to find themselves in what we call the transportation hub. And this is basically where you get to park your vehicles that you came to Pantopia in. So we have hot air balloons, airplanes, tuk-tuks, rickshaws, and all kinds of unusual, and a Jeep, all kinds of unusual, and bicycles too as well, are all just kind of left here, but they're not ordinary transportation devices. They've now become art because they've been left behind. So the artist is, you leave anything alone in Pantopia for more than 5 minutes, it will become a piece of art. So our tuk-tuk, which is actually from Indonesia, it's actually from Thailand, I'm sorry, is now a jewelry salesman's booth. He's taken it over, now he sells jewelry. Actually sits right here in this planter. And the hot air balloon is here, and I'll show you the plane inside. So there's all kinds of great little details that make Pantopia a really rich experience for our guests to explore and learn as they travel around, and they can see and learn and discover their own mysteries and their own stories inside the land. Good?
Yes.
And there's a fountain.
Yes.
There. So if you want to plop down, I'm going to go over a few more bits with you. You can ask more questions, and then you can kind of explore. You can touch stuff. You won't hurt anything. You can hold your key. You can take a key if you want. You know.
Yes, I can.
We have lots of them. I meant to bring, like, we have thousands. I wish we had. I meant to have a big box and give you guys keys. They didn't bring. Okay, so now we're actually inside the main retail experience for Pantopia. It's called the Painted Camel Bazaar. And the Painted Camel Bazaar has a great story. It's actually operated by Akbar. You guys remember Akbar from Akbar Tours down in Egypt? Well, as you know, he sort of shut that whole business down, but he did find that his gift shop down there did really well. So he opened a new gift shop, mercantile, here in Pantopia, and it's called the Painted Camel Bazaar. And it's called the Painted Camel Bazaar because Akbar used a camel to transport his goods and wares from around the world right here to Pantopia to sell. But he liked to dress his camel up, right? Because Akbar was a really kind of kooky, eclectic guy. And so he draped the camel with fabrics from all over the world, and people would see this camel across the horizon and say, "Look at that painted camel, he's so shiny and pretty." Well, it was really fabric that was on him. But then Akbar also had a pet monkey, or like a little best friend monkey, if you will, not a pet. His little pal that kind of lived nearby the store. But he was very naughty and mischievous, and he would often steal the keys of Pantopia and take them around. So the sign for the Painted Camel Bazaar is just that. It's a camel draped in painted cloth with a little primate on top holding the key of, one of the keys of Pantopia. And that is this store, the Painted Camel Bazaar. And inside, once you guys get done here, this is all actually the fixturing for the retail team. And that's just some stuff that they'll be selling here. You can see around the shop as well. They're starting to load in product as well. So I'm going to run through all these flavor and texture images behind me, but everything that you see are the real props of Pantopia. These are our exterior props that will be going outside to fill the vision of the richness and the boldness and the detail of what Pantopia is. So I'm going to start over here. This is a color elevation of actually the outside of the Desert Grill with the new Culinary unit that's built here. So this blue color story, and it's cold because we sell cold-related food items there, is actually operated by Frosty Christolis. Sorry, I forgot his last name. He's Greek. He's from the island of Mykonos in Greece, and he flew an airplane to the Arctic, and he had an airline that he operated called Lynx Air, a lynx animal. And he went there and came back, and he's got great stories about animals in the cold there in the Arctic. But his plane once he got here, he couldn't get it back out. So he took his plane apart and turned it into a culinary stand, a street vendor, if you will. And here he sells all things cold because he loves cold things. So now on the plane, instead of saying Lynx Airlines, that's been scratched out. It says Lynx Frozen Treats. And so this is where our guests can get a lot of cold food items in a grab-and-go fashion. Snow cones and smoothies, really cool stuff. And then moving along, the color palette changes to redder, warmer orange tones, which will eventually lead to another new culinary unit called Dragon Fire Grill. And the Dragon Fire Grill is an outside kebab station, if you will. Meat on sticks is a good way to describe it. And so it's a big fire pit outside, and our team members are cooking that food right there, meats and vegetables, vegetable kebabs, chicken kebabs, all that great stuff. And then they are selling it right as a street vendor would sell it in Pantopia. So brand new culinary offering, not been done in this part before, so it'll be really, really popular as well. This is the elevation of Painted Camel Bazaar. It's actually where we just walked in. These rugs are these rugs. These are actually really the real ones. Fun story, these are made from recycled plastics. And they're made actually right here in America, which is interesting. So objects that you see here are from all over the place and often local when possible. That saves on carbon emissions of shipping and transporting things around. So we like these made in America rugs that we have here that are all made out of recycled plastic. Which is cool, really cool. Moving along, you'll see more of the pieces and parts of the residence here of Pantopia. This door is actually one of the doors of Pantopia. It'll be one of the first ones installed. That's our navigator's door. And so the navigator of Pantopia lives there. And outside you will find all of his navigation tools that he has available to rent, to borrow, to steal, to pay for, whatever you want to do. And maps. He has all the maps of distant lands of Busch Gardens that you can explore, from Jungala to cheetah areas to Egypt. All these exotic locations you can go in Busch Gardens. He has all the maps of how to get there. Coming down is the key gate again. You've seen this before with the hot air balloon. This is actually one of the original ballast bags of the hot air balloon from the founder of Pantopia. This was one of his first symbols that he created when he landed here, representing the four corners of the globe. And this symbol is repeated throughout his little area of the attraction as well. The keys, of course, very, very important to Pantopia. Keys and locks and doorknobs. Keys can unlock the mysteries of our planet. You just have to look closely enough to find them. Just go in your backyard. You can find a great story just in your own backyard. You can find a great story on a planter in the parking lot of this park if you wanted to. Just got to look closely enough. So the keys are really important. And locks. Sometimes we do want to lock up secrets, but we also have the keys to open them. So these locks and keys are really the story of Pantopia. Everything's available, nothing's hidden, and it's a great place to discover and explore and have a great time. Moving along, this flavor board here, this is actually, this was done about a year ago when we were working on this store that you're in right now, the bazaar. And these were the influence, these are the color elevations and then the influence images of what we wanted this bazaar to look like. It's eclectic world feel. So we were actually using real found objects, literally recycled. These things behind you are gigantic. This is some of the wiring and controls for Falcon's Fury. Came on these big spools. They rolled them in, we're repainting them and using them in the store as fixtures. So everything is found, recycled, really cool objects. Some of them are reproductions, but a lot of them are not. They're actually antiques that we went out and got and picked and brought into the project. And then this is one you probably haven't seen yet. This is the West Gate. So this is located over by the bumper cars in the Congo area of Pantopia. So it's another entry portal for guests that are going around the park that direction. And it's big, great thing. You know, we got this animal henna. This is all henna-influenced art on the walls. And then these are the prayer flags, which represent all the animals in Busch Gardens that serve as shade and an entry experience for those guests coming through the West Gate. And then the big surprise that I love so much is our grand carousel. We have this amazing carousel here at Busch Gardens, Tampa. It's one of the original attractions. And has been restored. It's been fully restored, the horses have, but the canopy did not. And so now we're going to get the canopy corrected, and it's going to be amazing. So if you go outside, you'll see they're starting to paint it, but all this handwork will all be hand stenciled and painted on the carousel. We're adding gold gilding, balances, and fabric drapes and tassels all around it. So it looks like this big caravan tent with this great grand carousel underneath. So it was very important that we make sure that not only, we know we have a great high thrill ride, we have Scorpion, we have Sand, we got all these great rides here. We want to make sure that the all family attractions as well didn't get lost in the shuffle of the big thrill rides. And so this is going to be a real nice refresh for that whole carousel for the whole family to ride again. That's all. And so you can ask me any questions. You can also touch stuff, pick stuff up, take photos with keys if you want, and then you can look around the retail shop. It's in its various stages of load-in right now, as you can tell. But you can kind of see and touch really unusual objects from all around the world.
This is a real big move for Busch Gardens now to go from beyond that thrill, you know, it's perceived as a thrill park a lot of times. People don't even realize what you have here, and really moving into that rich theming and story experience. So what kind of was behind going in that direction now?
Well, story has always influenced all of our design. Even Cheetah Hunt has a really rich story behind it, but that project had very different goals. Really wanted to make this world-class, intermediate coaster experience, which I think we nailed, and an awesome animal habitat. So each project has different goals and aspirations. Pantopia, here in the old Timbuktu, there's a lot of rides here, and Falcon's Fury is extreme of extreme thrill rides. It's going to be completely awesome. But we want to make sure that a lot of our guests don't like extreme thrill rides. They come with families, or older multi-generational travel is huge for us. So we want to make sure that we had experiences for the whole family to enjoy as they went around the park. So, and it's new land. While they waited for people to ride this Falcon's Fury ride, there's more for everyone else to do. So these details are critical in developing a place that's believable, that is rich in history. It can entertain our guests just by simply walking around and looking and discovering. There's a lot of hidden nooks and crannies that will be filled with great stories here in Pantopia. So it's really an effort to ensure that we provide delight and discovery and surprise in every corner of the new land.
Excellent.
Travelers come in, lay down, sell areas, whatever it may be. Is there plans like changing around like various gift shops or something like that to get that influence?
In Pantopia, well, this gift shop, this was actually an existing gift shop here at the park, so it's been completely remodeled to fit the Pantopia theme. The only other gift shop we have is actually inside the Desert Grill, so that's getting a little bit of a refresh, but we're really leaving Desert Grill. The name will change on the outside, but the inside is going to really remain intact. And then I don't think it's any other real retail in the land. This is really the main retail space. There's some exterior carts that are going in, and our art vendors, like we have some new artists coming in that are going to do henna and caricatures. They're getting a whole new look, which is right here. These two stands, which are really cool, caricatures and henna. So they're going to be redone and kind of incorporated too. So everything fits, everything, and even the small kid rides will be coming back. They're getting a little light rebranding as well as transportation devices because they're planes, trains, and motorcycles. And then a brand new show is going into the Pantopia Theater, which is our Critter Castaway show is moving from elsewhere in the park, from Bird Gardens to here as an air-conditioned show venue, which will have a whole new name called Opening Night Critters, which is a play on Opening Night Jitters. I believe that's in your press things. Yeah, so the story of the animal show is that it's opening night at the Pantopia Theater, and everything that you can imagine going wrong on opening night of a basic show goes wrong, so it gets the comedy into the show, and so it's up to the most unlikely heroes to sort of restore the balance of the show, and the show must go on. So it's going to be a great show, highly popular, it's really, really, really cute. So we're working on that. I think that will actually open a little bit after Pantopia, because it's an animal show, so they have a longer soft opening technical rehearsal.
So I know it's not specifically in Pantopia, but now with Critter Castaway going away, the long-term plans in that corner of the park?
In Bird Gardens Park. Yeah, so it's surprising maybe it's surprising, maybe it's not, but we work in sort of a 365-day continuous cycle of product developments through all the parks. I happen to work on all 11 parks, and I'm leading this team right now working on all new stuff for them as well. And it's constantly in development, and we look at all kinds of facilities. We don't need to build new greenfield sites. This park is huge, but we have some facilities that are existing, like Timbuktu, that needed to be fixed and refreshed and brought into a more current state of guest understanding to be relevant in the marketplace. So more of that is coming, and this park is full of great assets. What I call them. It's what we did like with Turtle Trek in Orlando. Antarctica is a facility remodel. What we're doing at the front gate of California is facility remodel work, but looks brand new. So it's a style and genre of attraction that I really like to do because it's not throwing everything away. It's repurposing and reusing, and actually makes the design more challenging and actually the output I think more interesting than just building greenfield. That's greenfield. There's no buildings, or we tear them all down, which I don't like doing. So recycle and reuse.
Would it be safe to say the long-term plan for the park in general is to get away from a real thing to more of an imaginative thing like you're doing?
100% accurate. It's happening already in our branding. The parks were rebranded was it last year? Yeah, with the new logo and the new mark, moving away from these African-centric influences. We left the dark continent 10, 15 years ago, right? I think a long time ago.
It's amazing how people
Still call it that, yeah. If we limit ourselves to only the stories of one continent, we don't believe that fully embraces the breadth of the globe of nature. Much like SeaWorld, we talk about all the oceans and all the environments of the ocean. Our Busch brands should do the same on the land. So spreading that, opening that up and having a wider conversation. So we've been doing it quietly for years. Started with Jungala, and then it kind of kept going and going and going. Cheetah Hunt as well is sort of a melting pot of influences and styles. Pantopia is as well, and what you see next will be the same. Yeah.